Good morning and welcome to this week's Business Updates with me, Michael Hardy. So this week we're going to start with a challenge that's causing Walker's Chris some real disruption, and that is their IT upgrade. Upgrading your IT is essential, but with any change of this ilk, even if you're changing premises, having a backup plan to ensure consistency of supply and meeting the customer's needs is really important. And I know from my own experience that going to the supermarkets at the moment, their shelves are decimated in the Walker's Crisp aisle. So upgrading your IT is really important, but do you have a backup plan? Can you keep supplying your customers while your upgrade is going on or while you're moving premises? Any big change in your business, you need to have a backup plan because without it, it can cause the business real problems. And while we're on IT, online scams, there's a couple of things this week that I thought I'd bring to your attention. Brushing, this is where Amazon suppliers are sending out products without it being ordered to homes of Amazon customers. But they're then logging it as a sale because it pushes them up the Amazon rankings so that their products are seen as being more popular. So if you received a free gift through the post, which is something you haven't ordered from Amazon, the likelihood is it's been sent by this owner of the brand as a way of logging additional sales. So if what the survey that the Watchdog Witch did suggests, there may be as many as 1.1 million people in the UK who've had free products sent to them as part of this brushing. So a bit of a scam there on Amazon. Another one, a gentleman, actually Reverend Mike Hall, who was working in North Wales. And while he was in North Wales, his house was sold. But it wasn't sold by him. Somebody had gone in and duplicated his identity, and had then sold his house. And the first he knew about it was when one of the neighbours phoned him to say, "Are you having work done because there's people in your house?" He drove home to find that not only were people doing work in the house, he didn't own it anymore. What's really scary about this is that the Land Registry last year paid out £3.5 million in compensation for properties that had been changed ownership and then sold without them knowing. So fraud within the Land Registry department. So that's quite a big chunk of money for fraud for last year. So if you do have second homes or homes that you're not living in, how certain are you that somebody else isn't taking ownership under your name, but with your ID, but their ownership? So a bit of a scary thought there for homeowners, fair to say. Now, IKEA have come out this week and said that while sales are good, their profits are down because of the challenges of supply, distribution, cost of goods going up. So something that we all strive for is to increase our sales. I know whenever we talk to clients, how do we increase our sales, generate more leads, generate more sales? But are we making sure that the profits are up as well as the sales? Let's focus on our bottom line. Let's focus on that profit number, because having loads of sales and a reducing profit is not the way forward. So finding that balance is really important. IKEA, another company, suggesting that their prices are going to go up. They're obviously a franchise model. So in terms of how that works, is the center is where a lot of the costs are for distribution and raw materials. So they're going to be passing that down now to the franchisees and the stores, and therefore the costs of shopping in IKEA will go up. And to be honest, if you're running a business, your sales are going up and your profits are going down, you need to look at why. So let's focus on the bottom line of our business. We talk about green, obviously CO2 emissions, COP26 is very much in the headlines. But there's always been this discussion about is the battery, so electric vehicles, are they the future or is there another way? And what we're seeing here is that JCB have bought green hydrogen. hydrogen has always been touched on as potentially an alternative, certainly for large vehicles and for industry, as an alternative to battery and electric production. So JCB have bought 10% of green hydrogen made in Australia. And it's the first partnership, and they obviously do a lot of big manufacturing and construction vehicles. So they see this as a way of getting into the green battle, if you like, and looking at doing things differently. So giving an alternative to batteries, which for buses, lorries is probably something that we're going to have because batteries potentially aren't the answer. And here's JCB putting their flag in the hydrogen ground. Interestingly, that the green hydrogen will be made in Australia, driven by the fact that a lot of it has to be is produced but solar, I believe, and therefore with that comes a lot more sun in Australia than we have in the UK. So a lot of the hydrogen at the moment, because of still early days in how it's made, is made actually over in Australia. So battle for green continues. What's in a name? What's in the name of your business? How does it affect your customers? Well, Facebook, who've been in the news quite a lot recently, are changing their corporate name to Meta. Now, it won't affect Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or their brands under the main corporate business. However, Meta is their new company name and is driven by them trying to move into what they're calling this metaverse, which is going to be an online world. So everything that you do in the real world, you'll be able to do in the online world in this metaverse, even to the point of using virtual reality headsets. So how important is the name to you? Is it something that you've thought of changing and been shied away from? If you've got an opportunity for a name that meets your business, then obviously, as Facebook have done, they see this as being part of changing the narrative and explaining better to people what their future views are. So not what their now is, but what their future is. So Meta is the new brand for the group of companies such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. A chip crisis at Christmas. When I read this, I was worried about my Boxing Day cold turkey and chips, but it's not potato chips. Phew. No, it's the chips that we see in cars, in electronics, which we've been talking about for a while. I've had a real problem in terms of production and capacity. Well, if you haven't got your electric device on order, chips are taking 60 weeks for orders, and we've only got 50 days for Christmas. So the chip crisis at Christmas is not so much of Boxing Day, it's more of Christmas Day and your electronic gifts. So if you've not ordered them, then there's a chance that they will not be available for this Christmas. So no chips at Christmas. And a couple of things that we're running free workshops. We've got 5 finance numbers business owners need to know in a couple of weeks on the 18th of November at 9 AM. And then we've got a new business resilience and growth program for Newark and Sherwood area businesses, construction and manufacturing sector, which includes a £5,000 grant to help with growth. The next cohort starts in January. So if you'd like any more information on either of those, please contact David or myself on the details here. Thank you very much. Have a good day.